Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello to all my listeners. What a joy to create yet another episode in this podcast. I'm super happy because this podcast has a growing exposure and I get more and more feedback from people of how it touches them and that they're so impressed by the depth and the wisdom that is shared and that they feel that this really hits a spot for them. So first of all, thank you for this feedback. And yeah, I'm so happy to continue sharing just, very genuinely and spontaneously on the spot. For those of you who are new here, this podcast is dedicated to talk about numerology as a path for inner transformation, for growth and self-understanding. And my attempt is to really teach you how to think like a numerologist and to really go deep. And I try to also make numerology accessible and applicable for everyday matters. So I don't like it to be too ungrounded. For those of you who haven't gotten a numerology reading so far and want to try and want to have one, you're welcome to contact me through my website link. The link is provided in the episode description. If you want to study numerology in a more methodical way, more self-paced way, I suggest you check out my self-study course. And if your dream is to become maybe a professional numerologist, you can study with me one-on-one. And all the info is on my website. The link, as I said, is provided in the episode description. Now, one last thing that is exclusive to my podcast listeners only is I have a secret episode. I won't tell you which one it is. It's a little game I play, and this episode holds a coupon that's only for you guys, and it will grant you a 65% off of my online self-study numerology course. So just go through my episodes and try to discover which one it is, and I hope you have a lot of fun with it. So today we are going to talk about a very important topic which relates to the number combinations. Now, if you haven't listened to my episode about the number combinations, I really recommend you do so because it's one of the most important topics in numerology. There are many books out there that will teach you everything and anything about the number interpretations, the 5 core calculations, about the intensity points, about many things. And most numerology books do that, but most of them fail to talk about number combinations, which is actually how do the numbers come together to form a bigger picture than they would if they stand alone, just like pieces of the puzzle come together to form a picture. And this is one of the most important foundations to really understand and even apply numerology. Now, today, I'm going to talk about a specific number combination of 3 and 5. And I just randomly chose it because I love to do these episodes very spontaneously with whatever comes kind of, through me. And all number combinations are very relevant. Even if you don't have 3 and 5 in your core numbers, it doesn't really matter because we all need to learn all the numbers because we all have some interaction with these numbers, whether it is our father or mother, brother or sister, best friend, spouse, partner, colleague, or boss, or even our child. We will meet these energies and we want to know all of them. It can also be, by the way, that these are your complementary energies. And of course, if these are your core numbers, then boy, this episode is for you. So we're going to talk about the 3 and the 5 as they come together as one whole, and we're going to talk both about the shadow and the light, okay, like every number and every number combination has. And we're going to talk about the strengths and the weaknesses. So let's jump right in. It's not going to be, by the way, such a long episode, so just enjoy. I wanted to give you kind of like an insight into the world of number combinations a bit more closely. Strengths. So the 3 and 5 is first and foremost a very youthful, very childlike, very vital and charming personality. We're talking here about someone who loves to express themselves, someone who is naturally more self-focused, but also very sweet. Okay, we have here this kind of, as I said, very youthful energy, somebody that likes to laugh, somebody that is very social, a personality that loves to experiences new things, fresh things. It is someone that is more easygoing. The 3 and 5, they don't take things too much to heart, which is amazing in the sense of, for example, overcoming difficult times, overcoming trauma, right? Like not storing emotions for too long, just letting them kind of flow. Socially speaking, they're very lovable. We're talking here about someone that loves a lot of people around them, a lot of interaction, mingling, and they're also easy. They know how to connect. It's easy to become friends with them. It's easy to talk to them. They're super open-minded. They're capable of, of listening to many different opinions and opening up to different perspectives and different viewpoints, and they're genuinely interested to hear new things and blend with new energies. So they also have this very wakeful mind, a very sharp mind. These are people that are full of ideas very often. There's always some kind of creative channel that they can move through. If there's any problem, they're going to find some interesting way to move about it. And another amazing quality that I want to mention, by the way, is that the 3 and 5 is a combo. They really have a stronger or a bigger capacity for joy, just a simple joy of life, more than most numbers. So if you have 3 and 5, then you are blessed in that sense, right? There's more joy, there's more laughter, there's more ease, you can really enjoy the juiciness of life, the now, so to speak, the present moment. Okay, and that's really, really lovely. Now, I just want to say also, socially speaking, like they are more like a person of many friends. Okay, they are people that love to have many contacts, many people around them, and they just enjoy that interaction. They're also good, by the way, with communication in general. So the energy both in writing and in speaking, they can really talk to people, and in that sense, they have a kind of add to their charm some form of charisma, right? They can charisma not in the sense of like, whoa, what a strong personality, but more like in the sense of they can speak to people, they can approach people, and they're lovable. So they have some kind of power there, some kind of charisma and charm that really affects people. So that's, we can say, the archetype or the strengths. Okay, now let us talk about the weaknesses or the shadow sides, and some are really important to know, but there's going to be one that I'm going to kind of zoom in on, which I think is the most important to know. So in terms of shadows, in terms of weaknesses, the 3 and the 5 is very childish. They behave in irresponsible ways. They are uncommitted. You cannot trust them. They're unreliable. They behave in very selfish ways and think mostly about themselves. They're again, even when they're 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, they're still children that don't want to grow up. They don't want to face the problems of their life. They tend to escape or tend to flatten things, tend to look at things in a very shallow and one-dimensional way. They're also easily influenced as a type. The 3-5, they don't have a strong spine or a strong sense of direction necessarily. So it's like they're easily influenced by others, and especially by people with a strong mind and a solid path. But sometimes strong minds and solid paths can be also people that lead them astray. Like, we had very strong people that were not such good-hearted people. And if a 3-5 somehow is influenced by such a person, sometimes they can really be convinced to act in ways that are really destructive. In other words, they are very easily carried away. So we already mentioned, the shallowness, and this shallowness can be both, on the mental level and on the emotional level, which can cause problems in relationships, because when it comes to intimacy, sometimes you need depth, sometimes you need to process things. But the 3 and 5 doesn't like to process, doesn't like to talk deeply about things. They don't like to take responsibility, so they like to kind of like behave like little kids or little teenagers that like always are angry at their parents and never take any responsibility, always like give you the feeling that you're not entitled to ask of them anything, because they're just like these teenagers that are not willing to admit that they had something to do, let's say, with something that went wrong. Now, they're also very easily tempted. So there's a strong desire energy in this combo, desire for things and experiences, and they're easily tempted, which means that, again, if I connect the easily tempted with unreliable, you can imagine, right? So for example, I have a friend and we said we're going to do something and I really trusted them, but then I don't know, something came up on their end that they have a strong desire for, and they will simply go for it, forgetting that they really promised that they will do something for me or whatever. They're easily tempted. Again, it's they're moved by desire and by the wish for immediate satisfaction, immediate gratification. So they lack self-control, they lack self-discipline, which, self-discipline, self-control is very, very important for, achieving more long-term things in life. So their fire is very short-lived. It's not like it doesn't have like a long stamina in that sense. It's not long-lived. But here comes the biggest one. And this one, in my opinion and experience in observing people with this combo, is also the most painful one. And it is that 3s and 5s as a combo, 3-5, they don't learn from mistakes. Yes, you've heard me. They don't learn from mistakes. And this can be very painful, because it's like you see them repeating the same old patterns time and time again, and not having the sufficient depth or even willingness to ask themselves, why is this happening? Why? Because they don't want to take any self-responsibility, one reason, right? So they are not going to truly investigate why the relationship fell apart for the 4th, 5th, 6th time with someone who seemed super promising. That's one thing. So they're not willing to take any responsibility. And secondly, they tend to look at things in a very shallow way. So it's like they, instead of really feeling that there can be a deeper reason, they simply feel like it's like, but why did this happen? I don't understand. It's like, what? Is fate against me? Or I don't understand, right? So they're not going to really look at things in any deep way. So it's like they don't know how to look at what they experienced and to connect the dots and say, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. This is why this happened, and I'm going to change that for the next time. So not learning from mistakes can be a very, very painful experience as you grow up. Relationships fail, and the ability to find one's path can really fail, and so they tend to just not move deeply enough to make necessary breakthroughs in their growth. So we've talked about the strengths and the weaknesses, and now I'm going to say another interesting things, and that is I want to talk about numbers that can balance and support the 3 and 5. So if you happen to be a 3 and 5 and you recognize those shadows I've been talking about, especially the last one that I kind of zoomed in on, then we have two numbers here that can really help you. And when I say that can really help you, these can be either people in your life that have these numbers as very central numbers and qualities, or these can be numbers that you can simply focus on as a practice. One number, the first one, is number 6. Now, number 6 gives more emotional maturity to the 3-5, a sense of responsibility, right? It's kind of like that parent energy, that sense of, there are also obligations. We also need to give back. We also need to sometimes step out of ourselves and be less selfish, right? So the 6 really gives that feeling and an insight to the 3 and the 5, a non-selfish approach to life. And also the 6 teaches the 3-5 about patience, right? Things take time. Not everything that you want, you just get. You cannot eat the cake and have it remain full. So that these are things that they can learn from the emotional maturity of number 6. Another very supportive number that can balance and support the 3 and the 5 is number 7. Because number 7 gives them deeper perspective and the ability to learn from their mistakes, to observe their life, to look at the different elements that made up their experiences so far and grow from that and draw conclusions from that, so they can gain more depth, more multidimensionality, and more layers of simply observing their own life and understanding themselves in more than one way and from more than one angle. So it's more depth, more wisdom, the ability to include a more complex view of things instead of being shallow. So I want you to remember, as a kind of like wrap up of this episode, that the purpose is to live your number blueprint, but also to balance its shadows, right? So if you're a 3-5, go ahead, be that youthful energy, be that creative energy, be that easygoing energy. But remember, that's not the entire thing. Mastering your life path and mastering your chart means you want to also balance and transform the shadows. That's the meaning of mastery of your unique structure. Wonderful. So that covers the 3 and 5 for today. I just want to remind you, if you want to get a numerology reading and get to know your number combos deeper, more personally, then you're welcome to contact me through my website link. If you want to study numerology in a methodical way, self-paced way, check out my self-study course. And of course, if you want to learn numerology in a professional way, you can study with me one-on-one, which is the deepest and most profound and amazing journey. All the information is in the link in the description of the podcast. And don't forget to check out the secret episode that gives you a 65% off discount for my online numerology course with the coupon that is exclusive only to my listeners. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, I will see you in the next ones. And feel free to drop me some messages with maybe ideas that you want to hear about, maybe episodes that you want me to talk about. I'm super open and I'm curious to know what you want to hear. So, all the best to you wherever you are, and I will see you in the next episodes. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.